that brings up a huge question. Why has the world got to this state of this animosity, division? If I look back to my childhood, there were few protests. The big thing in Rhodesia was the university students would go a little bit, get a bit rowdy on, we called it Rag Day. One day a year, universities have a parade. The students parade through the streets, and the women wore scanty clothes, and and this is way back in a really conservative area. But a few older people moaned, and there was letters to the editor. There was no social media, but everyone said, let them have their fun, and it was over. There was no division in society, right? And then I can remember reading about the ban the bomb protests in Europe in the Cold War, right? And some of those did get violent. And then, of course, the anti-war Vietnam War protests in your country, some of them got violent. But it didn't cause the level of animosity across the whole nation that we're getting nowadays.
Yeah.
Is it just, people say, well, it's all social media. I say, no, I don't believe it's all social media. I think that fans the flames. I think through our education systems, we've lost the ability to teach kids to debate and respect other people's views and oppose them, but oppose them in a, call it a polite, gentle fashion, instead of just, saying those people are evil all the time. And we had debating classes at school in English, and where we had to defend views that we totally disagreed with, but we had to come up with reasons to defend them.
Yeah.
And it was a good exercise. And things were so different then that we didn't have this division in society. And I don't know how to get past that. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw a few things at you, and I'm curious your take on it, right? And come back and tell me what you think. I do think, as you said, I don't think it explains all of it. I think social media is part of it, certainly, because the ability for people to connect and also get in like echo chambers and bubbles of just, this is how I think, right? I think there's probably a more macro point, which you're getting at, which is why I do this show, frankly, and why I'm so fascinated by these types of things, is that I think people's ability, let me say it this way. I think people trust their own minds too much. And I say that of myself as well as anybody else. It's so easy for our minds are inherently flawed, right? We're not designed to handle the complexity of the world in 2022. And there's so many influences and inputs, some unintentional, some very intentional to manipulate us, as you said, in the media sometimes. And I think we are too overconfident in how our mind processes that, and that the conclusions we come to are true and accurate. And then you add social media on top of it, which kind of validates it. And I think we've gotten to a point where we've gotten too certain. We feel too certain that, yes, I am right, and this is definitely the way to go, and we need to question more. I do think, and this is probably a little more provocative, and I'm genuinely curious your thoughts on it, to your point about we didn't have this much division in the past. I can't speak to it as much. I'm a little younger than you, so I don't know as far in the past. But I do think there is an argument to be made that we are in a shift. We are in like a fundamental shift in our culture, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, we could debate, but it kind of gets to the Make America Great Again, kind of the Trump slogan. And in some ways I get that completely. I understand that sentiment. But I think if you look back 50, 60, 70, 100 years, I'll just speak for America. Somebody might look at that and say, we weren't as divided then, right? It didn't seem as bad 50 years ago as it is now. But I don't know, like maybe as a white person, it's easy to say that and say it was better then. But as a black person, it may have seemed less divided because I didn't have as much opportunity to speak up and talk and speak on the things that were hurting me. But now I have more ability to do that. So it seems more divided. The culture is shifting, right? The clear power dynamic of society is shifting. And in that, you see more adversity, you see more conflict, you see more tension. I'm not trying to say that racism is the root of all our issues or anything like that. I think it goes beyond racism, so other issues as well. But I think as we're evolving as a society and trying to be more inclusive, it looks like there's more division. But I think some of that division was still there 50 years ago. It was just more hidden. Maybe, right? Maybe. I don't know.